Our next guest is a very funny comedian you know from shows such as High Maintenance and Shrill. His new half-hour Carmen Christopher Street Special is streaming now on Peacock. Let's take a look.
If I was a teacher, no bathroom breaks. We're here to learn, not pee and poo. I'm excited to say that I got through most of my goals this year, except for my summer reading list, which was the Bible, A Bridge to Terabithia, and the From Dusk Till Dawn DVD case.
Can you do that tomorrow?
Yeah. Sorry. Just trying to bring joy to New York.
Please welcome to the show, Carmen Christopher, everybody. Thanks for being here, buddy. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Wow.
So, Carmen, I'm thrilled to have you here, but you have, in fact, been here before. You are friendly with a bunch of the writers on the show, and you have done bits on this show. Here's one. Do you remember what you were doing in this sketch?
Yes, this is a character. His name is Little Bobo, and he pranks dogs.
Yeah.
This is, I think this was written by Connor O'Malley and possibly Seth and Ben too. Maybe.
Yeah. The great Connor O'Malley has you guys have collaborated before, and this is one of your finest pieces of work together.
I think so. You guys let me have fun, but there was some structure to it, and that's entertainment for you.
This is obviously a very unique special, sort of inspired, I guess, or necessitated out of the pandemic, but you decided to go out and do stand-up in the street.
Yes. So basically, I was like, ooh, pandemic, I gotta take this opportunity and do something with it. And honestly, that's probably a bad way to say that. But the idea was I had this stand-up material and I wanted to burn it because I was like, I don't want to do this material once the pandemic's over. I was kind of sick of it. So I was like, why don't we just go film it on the streets? Most of my comedy is embarrassing myself. So I was like, why don't we add an extra layer to it and go do this on the streets of New York?
And so one thing I noticed from the clip and from watching the special is the speaker is very good, but it looks very heavy.
Yeah, that speaker is like, it's got to be 75 pounds. And also that speaker was $250, which is like, you know, if this doesn't turn into a special, it's like, that's just sad and I should quit comedy.
Right, yeah. So this is great that sort of Peacock came to the rescue and got you that speaker money.
I got to thank Peacock. Shout out to Peacock, everybody over there. Mike DeCenzo brought it to them, thankfully, and they said, let's give it a go. And it's the first original comedy special on Peacock, so check it out, yeah.
One of the groups of people that you approach a fair amount in the special are diners.
Yes.
So people are taking advantage of the outdoor dining that we sort of saw this last year. How were they? Did they like that you sort of came over, or were they on the other side of that?
Most people ignored me, but a lot of people didn't like it. Actually, so there was one guy who actually threatened to throw a glass bottle at me because I did this joke. It's not like a great joke. I don't even want to say it now, but I will. It was basically, what's with these AirPods? It's like right when you open them, they pretty much disintegrate into the air. I'd have a better job tracking down a booger that I flicked in the 4th grade. And he was with his family, and he didn't like that. And so he threatened to throw a bottle at me, and I said, if you throw this bottle at me, I'll sue you. So, you know, you can tell that, you know, I'm tough.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good response to a heckler, like to threaten legal ramifications.
I honestly think that stopped him from throwing the bottle at me, because then he just sprinkled water on me.
Oh, so he held the bottle but did the water?
Yeah, he did that, and I said, oh, tough. And then we were good.
And how often, like the clip, how often would people at the actual establishments come out and ask you to stop?
I think it probably only 3 or 4 times, honestly, but we put them all in the special because we wanted to make it look as depressing as possible. You know what I mean? Like, there were people, like, we did shoot, and there were people who, like, cheered and liked it, but we didn't really want to show that. I think it's better to not. Yeah.
Now, I think anyone who doesn't do comedy for a living would say, I could never imagine getting up in a comedy club. And yet, at least people in a comedy club wanted to watch comedy.
Yeah.
By buying a ticket or by going, they said, we're up for comedy. Now, obviously, you didn't have that situation. Did that make it more stressful for you or less stressful?
It was awful. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. So many times while we were shooting, I said to myself, I'll never do this again. I'll never do this again. Yeah, it was really, really bad.
And yet, is it still better than, I know you previously had a job in sales.
Oh boy. Yeah. I worked in sales for 8 years. I was doing sales for the first 4 years, and then the last 4 years of it, I was also juggling doing comedy. But the job was great because it taught me business, and it taught me customer service and how to talk to people and stuff. But it was for a logistics company, and as you can imagine, that is kind of boring. But what was the question?
Just, I feel like this is. I feel like everybody can retrofit the question. They feel like that did the best job answering.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I feel like obviously the show. There is a great amount of logistics
Yeah.
to the show. Just moving that speaker around.
Yeah. Like planning where to go. We had an executive producer. So basically there was 3 people in the crew. There was Danny Scher, who directed and edited. There was Harris Mayerson, who was the executive producer, and Matt Nelson, the second camera operator. That was the team. It was just us 3, and Harris kind of planned where we were going to go, this and that, and he was the logistics coordinator, and I got the day off.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Nicely done. Did you? Is your family by nature a comic group of people?
Everybody's funny, but they don't try to be. They're just like wild, But I would say that the funniest person to me was probably my grandfather. His name's Benny, and he was missing his index finger. He actually lost it while he was working in a warehouse. And anytime you'd ask him how he lost his finger, he had a completely different story. So he's from Mexico, so he had an accent. I'm not going to do that accent because, but I'd be like, Grandpa, how'd you lose your finger? And he was like, I was really hungry, and I bit into my sandwich, and I ate it. Another time, I was like, Grandpa, how'd you lose your finger? And he's like, your grandma was talking too much, so I told her to shh, and she bit it. And another time, he said that he was at war, and someone shot at him, and he went to go stop the bullet, so he went like this, and his finger exploded.
That's pretty good times.
He's funny, man.
This is also, I'm very happy, especially after watching your special, that you are going to be back doing an actual indoor comedy show.
Yeah.
When's your first show?
I'm doing actually a show that's on my birthday, June 20th, also Father's Day, at the Bell House. The show is called El Juice, formerly The Juice. I had to change it for legal purposes.
Really? They wouldn't let you do the juice?
Well, there's a different show that has a similar name that was like, we're going to do a cease and desist.
Oh,
so
excellent.
I changed it to El Juice.
Very crafty. I mean, I think that, again, logistics.
Yeah.
You know business, you know logistics, El Juice, you're out of trouble.
These are some great compliments. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Congratulations for Real and Special.
Oh,
It's really
wow.
great. And thanks
Yeah.
for being here in person.
Thank you so much for having me. This is so fun. Yeah.
Carmen Christopher Street Special. It's streaming now on Peacock. It's fantastic.